Over the years, I've used a ton of different email marketing platforms from MailerLite to MailChimp and everything in between. I have used it, I've studied it, I've tried it, and probably didn't like it. The thing that I have found is very few platforms had everything that I was looking for and for a reasonable price. I am a big proponent of email marketing. It is one of my main things, but I only found this one platform that did everything that I needed it to do and then some for a great price. What is that great price? Believe it or not, free. This is Systeme Email Marketing. My name is Reggie Whitley, and I'm the Visionary Brand Coach. And as you can see here, I really do love a good email. So, we're going to touch on System.io's automations, and we're also going to touch on their tagging as it pertains to email marketing. So, let's get started. So one of the things that I do just to give you a little heads up is I send out one email to my people every single day, at least one. That is typically just that one, but that one email is a part of an email campaign called 9 a.m. Fuel. And 9 a.m. Fuel is made to motivate, inspire, and to encourage entrepreneurs as well as educating entrepreneurs and nonprofit leaders as it pertains to building their brands, sustaining their brands, and scaling their brands. So that is why you see so many here. One thing that I just by God's grace, I'm very disciplined. So I can sit down in one day and create at least like 30 days or months, I'll say a month's worth of content. And that month's worth of content, I schedule it in System.io to send out every day, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And that's what we see here. That was something that was really pivotal for me because as a we know now we're in the holiday season. So it was really helpful because in October, before we entered the holiday season, I decided let me go ahead and get ahead of the game and let me go ahead and do 2 months worth of emails. So I took about a week to make sure I could get it done and have it to make sense and have it to flow very well so it didn't seem rushed. And in October, over a course of a week, it was a little less than a week, honestly, about 3 days. I scheduled 2 months worth of emails. So November and December, I have nothing to worry about because my last email goes out, as you see here, December 31st, and we do not skip holidays. So this is how you do it. I'm going to go to a sub account. We're just going to go to Reform because that is one that is not really active right now. And we're going to go to emails. So the first thing we have newsletters and we have campaigns. We're going to go over the campaigns first. So to create a campaign, you just go to create and you'll give it a name. So we'll just call it test, and it's going to come from Reform's email address. I can go over how to connect your email address if you would like. You could just give me a comment to ask me to do so, and I'll do a separate video on how to connect your domain and how to connect your own email address to System.io. So I don't really do a description just because the description is more so for you. I know what I'm doing, so I don't have to do a description. I know why it is being created. So when you go in, it's gonna look, of course, blank because everything has to be built out. So you're gonna click create. Now, before we get started here, a campaign, the purpose of a campaign, it is different than a newsletter. That is why you'll see at the top, there are two different things. You have a campaign and you have a newsletter. Your newsletter is what you'll send out. You'll just send it out as you will. You'll send it out as you're scheduling it to go out. So if I sit here and I have a thought right now and I say, man, I got to tell the people, I will go and I will do a newsletter. But I'm also big on automation. So for automations, I'm going to create a campaign. What the campaign does is it says, I know that this email has to go out, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. I know that email one goes out on day one, and then 2 hours later, we'll send another email, and then the next day at this time, we'll send another email. That's a campaign. It keeps things in motion, and everyone has the same experience. So let's take a look at some of my campaigns. We'll just look at one. So we're going to go into my transformation workbook and welcome campaign. So when you go on my funnel, which I have a video on funnels already, I did it last week. I released it last week. So you want to go back and take a look at that if you missed it. If you create a funnel, which I did, I have people to sign up in the funnel. They give me their name and their email address before they do anything else. When I get a name and an email address, I put them in a tag. We're going to go over tags. When they have a tag, which just means they are put in a category, that category says, okay, put them in this campaign. Are you getting me? So you put your name and your email address on my website, which is in the funnel. My system assigns you a tag or a category, and that tag says you need to get started with this campaign, which is what we're going over campaigns. The first email goes out because that funnel is for them to get a free workbook. So that email is going to go out to them automatically. The subject line is going to be download Ignite and get started. Let's get started. And then they have their little preview text for their email. And here is the email that they'll get automatically sent straight to them from Reform's email address, right? And they'll be able to click the download button, all of that. We're going to go over how to create this yourself to make it your own with your own logo and all of that. So they'll get this in one, if I wanted to, instead of putting download there, I could actually put the workbook here so that they can actually download it out of the attachment in the email. That's one thing that I love about system.io is that they allow you to attach files instead of having to force them to download all the time. You can just attach files like a real email. So they'll get that as soon as they give me their name and their email address, right? Now, after you go through this, then they'll go to 1 hour later. That's what the delay means. 1 hour after they get their first email, they're going to get this second email. And the second email is just going to let them know, hey, this is day one. This is what we're focusing on day one. And to give them a reminder, and we're signing off. It's in alignment with the workbook that they're going to receive. And so they get that, like I said, 1 hour later, but the next day, they're going to get day two. And they're going to get another day because it's a 7-day workbook. I'll put the link to it in the comment in the description in case you guys want it. But they'll get an email per day in a good sequence. Every day at the same time, they're going to get another email because the workbook is kind of a devotional type of workbook, so it's going to flow with them. And then at the end of the day of day 7, they're going to get an email that just says day 7 is complete. Good job, well done. You've completed 7 days. And they're going to get that 13 hours after after day 7 is sent out. And then after that, we go into just getting to know what Reformed is, and they'll get some emails concerning that, right? Perfect. Now, why this is important for your business. Let's say that you have an event coming up and you want to do something along the lines of explaining why they need to go to the event. Or if they sign up for the event, you want to send out an email campaign that says this is how to prepare for the event. If you're having a book that you're releasing or you've already released it, you can send out an email campaign that if people have expressed interest and wanted to know more about the book, you can get an email campaign going where every day they get something about the book. Let's say that you have some news that you want to share. You want to hype up the news. You can give them something one day and then remind them 3 days later, hey, be on the lookout. Something else is coming. This is the purpose of email campaigns. They are very powerful and they make sure that you don't have to be sitting there doing anything on your own in real time, which is what I love as an entrepreneur. We can automate life. So let's go back to test and we're going to click create and we're just going to say welcome, right? Typing with one hand today, guys. We're going to say welcome. You can change the sender name to whatever you want it to be. I'm just going to say Reggie Whitley for now. My email is there for reform, so that's what we're gonna go with. And they're kind of lackluster. I will admit they're kind of lackluster with the templates. They only have one to start. But one thing that I really appreciate is that you can go in and you can drastically change these templates. Now, I'm one, I'm not too big on the flashiness of an email. I like to get down to business, if we're being honest. But if you wanted to go in and add images, you can do so. If you want to change how these look, you want to put 3 images up here, whatever you need, you can do it. You can make it your own. And then you'll just click here and then you'll change. Or if you want to get rid of it, you can click it. Sorry, you'll hover over it and you'll click the orange trash can. Do you want to delete this element? Yes. Now you'll see here that this is something called a it's a box for you to put content in, but it's really just a section. If you want to delete that whole section, the sections are green, so you'll do that. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, I don't want to have to go through deleting a section and the text. That just seems like it's just too much work. Well, if you don't want to go through all of that, you could just hover over it and just go to the green, ignore the orange, and just go to the green, delete it all in one that way. You can click here and you can put that in the trash and upload your new logo or whatever image you want, and you can change the size here. Now, if you want them to be able to click on it in your email and it goes somewhere else, sure, we'll just say google.com. And as you saw, I was changing the size and you could change where it sits. And then you would click here, double click, and you can just change all of this text. And you can also make it, different sizes, different fonts. Um, just have your way with it, especially if you have your own brand fonts, brand look, brand vibe, which you definitely should have. You can do all of that here. And if you wanted to put in, make it, let's say, hi, blah, blah, blah. So if you want to make it personal, you can say hi, substitutions, and then first name. Why? Because their first name is already going to be included because they've been assigned a tag. They were assigned a tag because you were able to put in their information, first name, and email address. Some people decide to do first name, last name, all of that, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, you want to make sure that you have them to enter their first name and their email address at a minimum, so you can do fancy stuff like this. So when they get an email, this can go out to 20,000 people. If you have 20,000 people on your email list, go out to all of them at once without you moving a finger after doing it the first time. And because you have this here that says first name, 20,000 people are going to see their name. So they're going to feel like you are talking specifically to them, which is very important in email marketing. You don't want your emails to feel like you're talking to the crowd or to the masses. You want your emails to feel like you're really talking to that person and they're feeling special, they're feeling included, they're feeling like you have a relationship or a connection with them. You can do whatever it is that you have on them, whatever you put on as far as when you get the information, what you put in here, you can put that in there under substitutions, but why? Um, this person, the template, this is an image. So if you want your signature there, you will have to actually sign your own name and upload it as an image, but that is how that's done. And then replace that picture with yours by again clicking the X. You'll click here and then you'll go down and find your picture. Now, if you don't have a picture of yourself or whatever picture you're looking for isn't here, I'm just noticing all of these sample pictures. I've never paid attention to that. I need to delete them out. But if the picture that you want isn't here, you'll just drag and drop it here, or you'll click on this and find it in your folder, your Finder app, whatever computer you have. So that's my picture. I'm going to say select, and of course, it's going to make it big. So I'm going to make it small, change the name to Reggie Whitley. And there we have it. This is a link where it just says follow me on Instagram. All they did was they put their text there and they went over here to the little link button. It kind of looks like a paper clip, I always call it, but it's really like a chain link or whatever. So you'll click on it. Let's see here. Why is it not popping up for me? I think I have to go down a little more. Something that's hiding it. Oh, there it is. Popped up when I highlighted. And so you'll just do the little pencil there and you'll put the link here. So again, we'll just say, well, I use Google as if I don't have a website. So we'll just say reggiewhitley.com. Now, if I want to just take that off completely, I'll just click the broken link and it's no longer a link. Is it a different color? Yes, it's still a different color. Still looks like it's a different link, but it's not. It took away that hyperlink. But I'm just going to delete it all together. I don't want to delete the whole section because in this section I have my text, my image of my fake signature, my name, my picture, and how to connect with me. So I don't want to get rid of the whole section. I only want to get rid of this one text column. So I'll just do the orange, trash, yes, right? Very simple. I ran through it kind of fast, but you get the gist of it. And then you'll say save, and then you'll exit. So now here they're going to have me to do a welcome. You're going to find a very good, a very compelling subject line that's going to capture their attention. And then you're going to give them some preview text. If you put nothing here, it's going to just start giving them what the actual email says because this portion is optional. But I always like to have something that captures their attention. Not everyone pays attention to preview text, but for those who do, I like to put them something good in there to really capture their attention. And then, of course, over here, I can add a file if I want to. Let's just say I want to add this document, which is my 7-day transformational workbook. And so when they get their email, it's going to automatically have the email and at the bottom an attachment to the workbook, right? And again, I can change the name if I would like. Now, if you don't like the way this looks, if this is too complicated for you, you can go to the classic editor version. Now, I never used this. I've used it once just to see what it is, but I don't use it ongoingly because I don't like a big fancy, but I like a little fancy. But if you're just the type that you just want to type your text in here, you can literally just type your text in here. Um, and it's just that simple. It does have some of the same aspects of the visual editor. Let's say you want to say hi, substitutions, first name, you know. So it's going to do the same thing. It's going to put their first name there for whoever you've sent this to. If their first name is in your information, it's going to replace it there. And you can do an image. Let's go back up here and let's say that we want to add an image in here. You will go over here where it says image. Now over here it gets a little bit tricky. So I just because it says email. So these are the images specifically for email. So I just click the X and then let's see here. I go in. I can never remember which one this is. Let's just click all of them. And I know it's not some of these because like I don't have products on this one on this business. I don't have any of that other stuff. But we're just gonna click them all just because I cannot remember which one it is. All right. And then they all pop up. So we're gonna put my logo back up there. Now that's the thing. It does get to be ginormous, right? The way that you have to make it small, I find it just easier to make it small with Canva, going in Canva, because sometimes yes, you see how I had to find the line to make it small, but sometimes it's just easier to go in Canva and just make a email version of your photos, which is why when I went over here at first, it only said email because that's typically what people do. They'll have their regular logo and then they have a smaller version of their logo just for the emails. And when you upload it there, it'll always pop up there and it'll be the correct size every time. You don't have to resize or anything. But as you can see, this won't look nearly as fancy when it goes out. So, you know, we're just going to go back to visual editor and all my stuff is still there. Praise God. Hallelujah. And we're going to exit there. Now, how did we get here? How is it that we get to the point of having email campaigns? Now, before I go over that, we're going to say save draft and we're going to exit and we're going to say, because remember I told you, when we do create new, we only have two options here. And who wants to do a full blown revamping of their emails to look as fancy as you made your first one, only to have to go back and do it all over again? We're not going to say new. We're just going to go over here and we're going to say duplicate and we're going to confirm. So when you duplicate it, you'll just say, we'll, just for fun, we'll just say day one. And then as you can see, it's all the same stuff, even this over here. So if you want to be careful, if you only wanted to send out your attachment once, you want to make sure if you duplicate that you delete it out of your duplicate. And you can make your edits there. Now, we're not going to make any edits in here just because this is an example only. But the thing is, we're going to say activate the first one, right? We're going to leave all this alone for now, and we're just going to activate it. Make sure that we have the correct sender email. They're just going to verify it, and we're activated. So you see it's green. Now, day one, we don't want it to go out the same day as the welcome. We want it to go out the next day. So we're going to go over here. We're going to activate it. And we're going to make sure that we say we send it out after the welcome. How long after? We're going to do 1 day after, right? Now, here's the thing. If you want to do 1 hour after, 1 minute after, 20 hours after, 17 hours after, 3 days, whatever, you can, but we're just going to do 1 day after. Here's the thing. If somebody signs up for your email, let's say they get added in at 11:20 p.m. and you don't want all of their corresponding emails to go to them at 11:20 p.m., the same time every other day, you can change the time that your emails will be sent, right? So let's just say 3 p.m. every day after that. This is good because just because I'm up at 11 on scouring the internet and I ran across your ad, for instance, on Facebook, and I signed up for whatever you had me to sign up for, just because I did that at 11:20 p.m. today, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be checking my emails at 11:20 p.m. tomorrow, the next day, and so on and so forth. It could be that I was just up looking because I couldn't sleep that one night. So by the time I check my emails in the morning, if all of your emails are going out at 11:20 p.m. every day just because you caught me at 11:20 p.m. this first day, by the time I get to my emails the next morning, there's a chance that your email is buried way down in the rubble and I won't see it because of the time it was sent. So that's a good thing if you want to change it now. If that's not your mindset and you want it to go out to them at the same time that they signed up for it every day, you can just not do the time. You know what I mean? If you don't want it to go out on certain days of the week, that is fine too. You can turn those off. Weekends, you can do no weekends activate. And again, you'll just verify what email you're using and there you go. And as you saw, it moved day two under the welcome because the delay is 1 day after the welcome email. Now, that was a lot of information. And so we're going to quickly transfer or, I guess, move over to your newsletters. Now, your newsletters, that's what you saw on my other side when you saw all of the scheduled emails that we're sending out. Those are newsletters. Newsletters, again, that's something that you can send out at one time. So I wouldn't do a campaign for 9 a.m. fuel because every day is different. So that means if you sign up today, which you should, the link is in the description, you may have missed not you may have missed. You have missed all. I've been doing this since like maybe June of 2025. You've missed from June of 2025 up until now. There's no going back and getting it. That's why you need to sign up today so you don't miss any more. Because this isn't a campaign. With a campaign, they won't miss a thing because they'll just immediately fall into the beginning of the sequence of emails whenever they sign up, and they'll get them just like everyone else. So if Julia signs up today and she goes into a campaign, she'll get the exact same emails in the exact same way that Robert got when he signed up a month ago. With newsletters, it's the complete opposite. When you sign up today, you start where we are and you continue as we continue. The past is gone, right? So my newsletters, I do the same thing. It's the same process, sucky templates. Let's just go to this one if you want to see it. We're gonna call this test reformed with Reggie. That's my email address. And here it gives you the option. If you like that classic editor that I showed earlier, you don't ever have to go into the visual one. You can automatically start with the classic editor. But because I said I wanted you to see this template, I'll just do visual editor to start with. And then you'll click in, same process. What is the subject? What is the preview? Who is sending it? From what email? Do you have any attachments? And then over here, we'll show you the tags. Who will be getting these emails? Now, before we talk about tags, we're just going to take a quick look at the template. Up here, we have our logo, our template logo. It's the same process. You click on it, you go over here, you find the trash can, you click, find the real logo, bam, it's going to be big every time. So you're going to downsize it, and there you have it. Now you can do all of your changes here. This is how this template looks. You can take out anything you want. You can add anything you want. For creatives, you probably can look at this and say, man, that has absolutely nothing to do with what I do. But I can see how I can use that exact template, that exact layout, and make something that's dynamic. And you see it even gives you a button here. Now, one of the things that I didn't get into on the other side that I'll talk about here is how to make your color changes. So we're going to go to settings and we're going to go to background color. My favorite color in the world is FAFOE6. So since I can remember it off the top of my head, that's what we'll use. And you saw the backgrounds changed, right? Now, this only makes a big difference if people are reading your emails on their computer. Chances are if they're reading it on their phones, they'll never see this. Now, the content background color is completely different, and as you can see, it didn't change. Why didn't it change? First of all, I know it wasn't going to change. I just played it off real well. But why didn't it change? It didn't change because when we click over here to this section, the section has its own background color. So don't let that trip you up because it trips people up sometimes. It almost just got me, but I remembered. I remembered. So you can either click the X here to get rid of it so that you can control it under settings. Now, as you can see, we're changing. Or you can keep it. We're going to go back to this section. You can keep it and you can control it over here. But now we got to bring that transparency back to where it should be. Now we can control it over here. If you know your hex, again, you can put it in here. If you want to keep it, FAFOE6, bam. Now I know you're noticing that this is still gray. We're going to go to this section. Same thing, click. It has its own background color. I don't want to go through the changes of it all, so I'm just going to get rid of it. And then there's like that. Now I know you're thinking, wait a second. Why isn't this that shade of beige? Because if you remember up here in settings, we still have our background set to something that is not FAFOE6. So one of the things that you want to make sure of I know that was complicated, but I made it complicated to break it down to you this way. You want to make sure that wherever you are, you have it set to where you can make your changes in one spot. I always have asked people just go in and get rid of the background color over here and over here. That way, when you go in settings, you can make all the changes that you want from one spot. Make that like a gray. See what I'm saying? You can make all the changes that you want from one spot. And when you scroll down, you'll see that everything has the same background color. Of course, these pictures have a white background, that they're not a transparent background. That's why that's white there. Now, when we go down here to the button, we want to just click on it. They have the little gear shift for settings. You can click that, but you can literally just click on the on what you're trying to edit. You can change this over here. And we'll just say change me. You can put the URL here. So we'll just say www.reggiewhiteley.com. And so when they click on it, it'll go straight there. This is how you change your fonts. You have fonts here, just like you had before. I briefed it before. And then the style. So some fonts don't have a certain style, but thankfully this one does. You can make it bold, you can make it italics, you can make it bold italic, you can make it normal. And you change the size here. You change the color here. Everything, as you can see, is very self-explanatory. There's something that gets a little bit trickier. Not really, but for lack of better words. So, your font color is how it looks just sitting there, right? Now, we're going to go over here to background color and we're going to make it a shade of blue. Uh, yeah, that's fine. Now, you know what? Scratch that. This is an email, not a website. On your website, you can change the hover color. So when you hover over the button, it will change colors. So like it's blue now. I was gonna make it change to then black button with blue letters. This is an email. This is not a website, but guess what, we're gonna go over websites very soon, so that was a good way to put a pin in that so you can come back, because system.io does do websites, and we're gonna go over how to build your website in an upcoming video, because this is a whole course and I plan on you leaving knowing how to use system.io through and through. So whoops. Well, that was something, wasn't it? I accidentally moved it up. So as you can see in a section, we have different columns in a section. And so when you go here, you can just click down to bring it back down. Look how easy that is. Or you can just drag it. Drag it where you want it. Drag it back where it was. I can't really remember where it was. I think it was here. I wasn't really paying that much attention. Just trying to show out in front of company. But when that blue line popped up, you saw how it did. It went back. So that is how to edit your button. You can do more edits. I normally like to make all of mine very round. I just say 55 just because I don't know. And it makes it round. So that's how to do that. We're going to save. We're going to exit. And this is when you save and either test it by sending it to your self, save and send, so you can immediately send. And I mean, I've tested this, guys. It really does immediately go out when you do save and send. Or you can do save and schedule. Save and schedule is something that I use the most often. Let's just pretend that we're going to send this on the 1st of December at 12 noon. As you can see, it uses military time, but it's easy to adjust. 12 noon, apply, and then we'll save and schedule. Now, it gave us an error. Please select tags before scheduling the newsletter. Now is a good time for me to teach you what a tag is. I have options, and we're just going to say everyone. And we're going to try it again. Still save there. Bam. Now, how do you not get that error message? We're going to go to CRM and we're going to go to tags. Under tags, remember, a tag is a category. So under tags, you are able to put your tags here. I was going to say as many tags as you want, but there are rules to it. If you have a free plan, you can only have up to so many. The number of tags that you can have on a free plan is just one, which is one of the main reasons that I went up to 10. I upgraded my plan so that I can have 10. But right now you can only have one tag on a free plan. Here's how you can navigate that. With your one tag, you'll just create a tag called everyone. Here's the thing. In email marketing, everyone has to have a tag. Without a tag, you cannot control what goes on with who, what, when, where, how. So you'll just create a new tag and you'll name it everyone. I'm going to name mine, we'll say everyone test. Save. Everyone test. And when we click in it, nobody. But we can add context. We can create a contact and we can put people's information in here. And when we put their information in, we'll just select everyone test and then we'll save it up here at the top. Of course, we can't save it because we don't have an email address. So we'll just save it up here at the top. Now, I don't want to start sending myself emails automatically because my email marketing automations are that in tune to where if I click save, I'll start getting emails and I don't want to mess my numbers up by not opening my emails because I already know what they are. Now we're going to go over here and you'll be able to see that you have people on your tag and you'll be able to see how many people joined um and how much money you made if you use these this one is not used to monetize. Again, this is one that I don't really use. It's kind of a new thing that I have going on that I hadn't really launched yet. But if you use it to monetize, to sell in your emails, to sell on your site, what have you, even in your funnels, it'll show you how much money you've made with this tag. And it'll show you your average sales per contact. Now, what do you do after you have all of these tags, right? You're able to then go in your emails. Remember, we're over here in newsletter, and we're going to say we want to send to everyone test. But let's say that in everyone, we don't want to send it to everyone. Let's say if they're also an ex attendee, because we want to send this to people who have never attended our event and we want them to be enticed to come, but we don't want to send it to people who have attended. Well, if you have an upgraded plan and you have a tag just for people who have attended your events, you can click to exclude those people, right? And when you click to exclude those people, it'll show down here that anyone in the excluded list, they who is also in the included list, they will not get an email, which is really good. You can also send to more than one email. Select all. You can send it to everybody, right? If you want. So now let's take a look at your automations. Now, automations is something that you can do. Let's take a look first. Let's see here. If you have a free plan, you can do one automation rule and one workflow. So we're going to go over here to automations and we're going to break down the difference between automation rules and workflows. So we have automation rules, which here is just called rules under the automations tab. The rules make it to where whatever you say is the rule, right? So let's say that somebody subscribes to our campaign, right? No, I'm sorry. So let's say that somebody finds a funnel of ours. Remember, we did a video on funnels and they put in their name and their email address. We've created an automation rule to where when they opt in, let's open it up. When they opt in on that page, they get added to the transformation workbook tag. So let's walk through it together. We're going to open up the funnel. I showed you this funnel before. This is the funnel. I showed it to you in the last video. When we say download, it'll take us to this page and we can put in our information, our name and our email address, and it's going to say Let's Ignite. When it says Let's Ignite, what it'll do is it'll automatically put their name and their email address in the tag. So they'll give it a tag of transformation workbook. Now that's all I wanted the action to do. But let's go down here and let's take a look at all of the different tag or I'm sorry, all of the different actions that are available. So you can subscribe them to a campaign, which is kind of a part of all of this. Or you can unsubscribe them, add a tag, remove a tag. You can send them an email. Now, when you click on this, you will have a specific email typed out to go to them. Just that one email, kind of like a newsletter. You can send an email to a specific email address. So what that means is if somebody signs up, you can set this to notify you on your email address. Hey, you got to sign up. Or if you're working with a partner, that person can get a notification to their email address. It says, hey, partner, this person signed up to our campaign. This person signed up to on our page or whatever. You can use system.io to build courses, video coming soon. You can enroll them in a course. You can revoke access to a course. You can send a webhook. You can give access to a community or revoke access to a community, and all of these other things down here, including sending them a text message. So these are all of the options you have with System.io. We don't have time to go over them all. I've already gone over my time. Back under automations, if we go to workflows now, your rules are, the rule is when you sign up on this page you get added to this tag, or when you sign up on this page one of these many things will happen. That's the rule. The workflow is more of a systematic flow. Now I have one. You know what, I'm gonna show it to you. This workflow is just a little bit more complex. It can get way more complex than this, but this one is when you come on to my account and you sign up to have a consultation with me, because yes, this platform does take the place of Calendly. So when you go onto my link and you sign up for my booking, you automatically get added to the Visionaries tag, and then you'll automatically be sent a confirmation. The email will just let you know, hey, we're confirmed. We're going to choose an edit just so you can see it. Very plain. This is what I talked about before, and I said I've only used it once, the plain text option. So you can see here my logo up here. First of all, hi, with their name, it'll pop up there. Your consultation with Reggie Whitley has been scheduled. All of this, and it gets sent to them, right? After that gets sent to them, we'll wait a day. So that's a delay. And then I'll have them to be signed up for 9 a.m. fuel. So that's just another email that I'll send them to let them know, hey, 9 a.m. fuel with Reggie Whitley. If you are, what if your morning started off with more clarity, more strategy, and more bold movement? I've launched 9 a.m. fuel, a free weekday, blah, blah, blah. They'll get sent that because I don't want to automatically sign them up. I'll give them the option to sign up themselves, and they do be signing up. Okay. And that's what they'll get there. But you can click plus, and you can still have so much more, so many more actions, similar to it was how it was on the rules. But this is more of a workflow that you can see how it branches out, and even up here, maybe I need to do a whole video on workflows because there's so many options, and it is so complex in the best way possible. I want you to learn it so you can take full advantage of it. But your workflow is great because, again, it keeps things automated, because one of the best things about being an entrepreneur is automations. We want to make sure that we don't have to work hard, but we can give the illusion that we are working hard. So, in a nutshell, that is how System IO has changed my business as it pertains to email marketing. I literally found this platform because I was looking for something to replace my previous email marketing platform. And I found out that it has all of this stuff and so much more for free. If you want to take a look at system.io and make sure that it's a good fit for you, play around with it to see these features, to be hands on. A lot of the times we can watch, and until we get hands on, we won't fully understand, especially the simplicity of it all. If you want to get a look at it for yourself, look in the description and find the link. It is right at the very top. It's the first thing in my description. You can click that link, start your own free account. It is free forever. It's not one of those things where it's a free trial. It really is free, and you only upgrade when you are expanded and it's time to use it for more. So I would admonish you to go ahead and take a look. There's literally no risk in taking a look at it and see if it is a good fit for you. I'm pretty sure it will, because it is an amazing fit for me. Now, in my next video, I'm going to go into another topic of the software so that we can look at something else that it does. I'm not quite sure if I'm ready to go straight into website building yet, but who knows? We'll see. I will see you next week.